Hello, 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 and welcome. Happy Sunday to everyone. Welcome to Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck, a mom, a wife, and the founder of Holistic Fitness, which is actually located right here in Queens. Super excited to have you here with me today. So how are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you being? I know they may sound like the same question, but they're absolutely not. Doing, being, and feeling. Question to ask yourself for today. With this amazing full moon that we do have in Leo energy. But I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Before we go any further, what I'd like for you to do for me is share out today's show. Let everybody know that I'm here. I'm going to be sharing some amazing information with you. I have an amazing guest that will be here to chat with you about falling in love with yourself. Which, theoretically speaking, when we think about falling in love, shouldn't we fall in love with ourselves before we even think about falling in love with somebody else? That's a big question, right? So share this out. And remember, if you've missed the last episode, which was 2 weeks ago, you can always come back and watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, and of course on YouTube, where we are actually streaming live right now, and Twitter as well. So all that being said, share this out. Let your friends know that we are here, as I'm going to do the same thing right now. So there's going to be a moment of silence as I do, because multitasking is not always my best friend. Don't always know how to do that. So just share it out to a handful of people. Hopefully they'll come and join us. One more person I want to throw in the mix who always seems to be here with us, and hopefully I can find her. So give me a sec and let's see if we can get that going. I don't always remember, but anyway. Any case, so want to give a big shout out to my partners that make the show run week after week after week, or every other week. Now that I am on this year's new schedule, where if you haven't already noticed, the show airs live twice a month, first and third Sunday of the month. And we also have a new time. If you didn't notice, we are now airing live at 3:33 p.m. Eastern, which seems to be a magnificent time. At least I believe so. For those of you who are not aware, because it is an angel number, it's reminding us that we have the support from our loved ones and our angels to do whatever it is we are doing. That's what 333 actually means. The gateway is open and we have support. So we're never alone on this journey that we are on. We do have support. So again, as I have support with my amazing partners, I want to mention them. There is a flyer. Here we go. We have Joe Monkman, who is our shamanic healing practitioner and also wellness advocate. CJ Ives Lopez, she's the host and publisher of the Author's Porch podcast and magazine. Kitty Foss and Amy Martin, both the hosts of Intuition of the Soul. Tammy Moses, founder and chief encouragement officer and founder of the Hoarding Solution. And last but not least, who is our guest for today, we have Deborah Beatty, who is our badass color mystic. So I'm super excited for today's show and want to just touch on the conversation as I opened the show with about the full moon's energy in Leo. Now, for those of you who have Leo in your sun, moon, or rising, know that this is a very significant day for you guys. Why? Because it's all about change, but we all get to feel that change no matter what your moon energy is, no matter what your sun energy is, or your rising sign is. We all get to feel it. And for me anyway, because Leo full moon is actually leading us into the energy of where Saturn will be moving into, which is Pisces. And that will take place on March 7th, 8th, depending on where you are in the world. And when we think about Saturn, Saturn's about our boundaries. So this change from the Leo energy, which is what Leo is about, is change. It's going to help us amplify changes in our lives, personally and professionally, collectively, and worldwide for that matter. where do you want to have more boundaries? Where do you want to say yes to? What do you want to say no to? What do you want to let go of? When we think of Pisces energy, Pisces is about tying up those loose ends and being able to move into our higher frequency, higher vibration, and be more intuitively aligned to what serves us, as opposed to working from our ego and based on logistics, so to speak, trying to figure out things logically speaking. I like to believe, and if you do follow me on a regular basis, I truly believe nothing is logical. And it's interesting because me being an Aquarius moon, having an Aquarius moon, I am very analytical. And I do try to find, based on research, things to sort of match the logic of things. But then also, because of that Pisces sun that I have, I'm very much into that higher vibration of what's the possibilities when we can come out of the logic and move more into the mystical realms of things. So that's that Leo energy that we definitely do have today. There's a lot of other energies that are going on. We're going to have a lot of planets shifting, transitioning out of one zodiac sign and moving into the other, and a lot of that's going to be taking place as the sun moves into Pisces energy, and I'll be sharing more about that over the next couple of episodes. But for today, let's just keep our energy on this amazing full moon in Leo. When we speak of Leo, it is definitely associated with the sun itself, but it's also about the heart. How is your heart feeling? What is your heart feeling? What are your emotions? And when we think about what are our emotions, how are we being led by our emotions? And how do our emotions get flared up when we are not perfectly aligned with boundaries? And I think that's a really big word for 2023 is boundaries. And yes, you do see me shuffling up my cards because I'm curious to know what's in store for us with this energy and what one chakra can we work on today so we can be perfectly aligned to this amazing full moon in Leo energy, knowing that this energy does transition through months to come, not just for the next 3 days. So let's see what's in store for us. Interesting card to show up, which is all about higher education, which theoretically is what I was just speaking about with this energy of Pisces. Pisces is the 12th zodiac sign, and it carries the energy of all of our signs. And it allows us to really tap into our higher wisdom, not the necessarily traditional, let's go to school education, but the higher wisdom of the being curious to know what else is there besides the logic, and allowing us to even explore in our dreams, whether it's our daydreams or our sleep dreams. The chakra here is the higher heart, the pink energy, which I think is so appropriate to today's topic about falling in love with self. It's about the compassion, the understanding, and the kindness that we can spread out to the world. That number 3, 6 is 9. When we speak of 9, it is about letting go of the old ways of doing things, which is a tapping into that full moon energy of change. What are you willing to change so you can have more boundaries, more respect? Because when I hear boundaries, I hear it equals respect. When you have boundaries, you respect yourself, and then in return, other people can respect you as well. So that 9 is really about letting go of the old ways of doing and transforming into that kindness, into the compassion, into the understanding for self and then to others. So I think it's a very powerful card for today. Work on your high heart chakra so you can clear out anything that doesn't measure up to joy, kindness, compassion, and respect as well. So that's our first card for today. I say first card, I don't know why I said first card. It's our only card for the day. We will have another card later based on the reading I will do later, but that's later. In any case, that is our forecast. That is what's going on with this full moon in Leo energy. Connect it with your energy as well, your personal energy, because that's the storyline that this full moon is going to help us with. But the key word is change and boundaries. that's helping us move into this amazing energy that Saturn will be in as it enters Pisces in just about a little less than 3 weeks from today. All that being said, it's time to take a commercial break. And when I get back, I will have my amazing guest here, and we're going to dive into this amazing topic again, is falling in love with yourself. I'll be right back.
Hi everyone, I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and I do have my guest here. You can see her. I will introduce her in a minute. Just want to again tap into the conversation I was sharing just a few minutes ago. However, I'm only going to talk a little bit about it. So if you did miss the beginning, you will definitely need to go back to watch from the very beginning. And you can do that by watching on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. And we are live here, of course, here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Our card for the day, which is so appropriate and so interesting, of the color, the chakra we're working on, is all about the higher heart. It's the pink energy, perfectly aligned with our topic for today. The word is higher education. So it's not about your traditional, let's go back to school. This is really about what you can learn about yourself from a higher vibration with this amazing full moon in Leo. That number 9, change, letting go. I'm going to leave us with all of that. So this way here, you're tempted to go back to watch and hear what else was said about this amazing card. I'm going to leave you with this and introduce my amazing guest who's been here a handful of times since 2023, and probably even at the end of 2022. We have our badass color mystic here, which is Deborah, and she's going to be sharing with us about how you can fall in love with yourself and why that's so important. Why is that important? So Deborah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for spending Sunday here with us and sharing your amazing wisdom. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks. Hello, everybody. I'm Deborah Beatty with Created Life Strategies. And I'm the badass color mystic. I work with color energies, and there are previous shows where I demonstrated that. Today, I'm going to be talking about a little something different. It's in addition to being a color energist, I'm also a life coach, and I do a lot of workshops and retreats for women who are basically trying to rediscover themselves. Our lives come along and they bury a lot of stuff on top of us. And it's easy to forget who you are at your core. the coloricity natal charts that I do kind of bring out that secret self and reacquaint you with it. But I'd like to talk a little bit more about something really, really that's seminal to being a human being, and that is loving yourself. If you're in search of a relationship or a career or anything else, I spent an awful lot of time looking for love in all the wrong places, as I'm sure a lot of us have. Um, and I'll share a story with you because, for the first 40 some years of my life, I was taught that I was unlovable. And being unlovable, I went and created my whole world to validate that hypothesis. I mean, I had a room when I was rebuilding my life after losing everything in 97. I had a small room in somebody else's house. I had a twin bed. I didn't go anywhere, didn't see anybody, didn't really talk to anyone that would allow me to meet and greet and love other people around me. And once I figured out what I was doing was when I started to work on learning to love this person again. I'd gone through so many shifts and so many changes when I was trying to recreate my life, which is why my business is called Created Life Strategies. And loving myself was one of the biggest stumbling blocks, the hardest thing to do. And yet it changed everything. Everything I did, from finding a job to finding a relationship. And I'm blessed to say that, we're going to be celebrating 25 years together in August.
Deborah,
And
I wanna jump in a second, ask you a question based on the story you're sharing as your identity, we're gonna call it. So the story that you have, how important is it to have an actual identity role that we play?
I think well, we all play roles. We have mother, daughter, sister, whatever. There are all those roles that we consider define us. I think it's really important that we define a role for ourselves as I, me. Who am I to me? I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a life coach, you name it, I do it. You know me, I'm a Renaissance woman. I do everything.
Exactly. But without all of those different titles,
But without all of those
is,
things, when it
who are
comes
you
to the
really?
core,
Exactly.
who I am to me
Yes.
is a wonderful human being, deserving of love and deserving of giving love to those around me, and deserving the love, to receive that. A lot of us build up all these walls and things to keep us from doing that. And it's instinctive to protect ourselves, especially if we've ever been hurt in a relationship.
Exactly. And I think too, as you use the word hurt in a relationship, I think that's a big part of why so many people have a challenging time loving themselves, is because they focus primarily on all the hurt that they've experienced, that they get caught up in that hurt, that they forget how to love themselves. So they continue to attract that same energy of the hurt that they've experienced. Would you say that to be true?
Yeah, a lot of it, and that's where my betrayal work comes in, is a lot of people feel like they've been betrayed, and then if they've been hurt, they withhold a little part of themselves to keep safe, to stay safe. and they don't fully engage and they don't fully open themselves out to receiving, they're careful because, oh, if a situation reminds them of one that happened before, instantly our minds go to, well, that happened last time and that really hurt, so I'm not going to let myself be hurt like that again, so I'm just going to hold back a little bit. And relationships are that one place where 100% and 100% equal 100%, 99% and 100% equals 0. You know, you have to be 100% on both ends or they don't work.
Exactly. And really get into that identification of loving ourselves also opens the opportunity of being able to love. I'm going to use the word better, although that's not a good word to use, but that's the word I'm hearing. To love better in a relationship, to be more open to receiving. Here's what they're actually saying: to be more open to receiving a healthier and better relationship, where you're no longer in that space of attracting a relationship that's going to continue to match the old pattern of the hurt. And I think that is extremely important in reference to letting go of how we identify ourselves so that we can better play the role of loving ourselves, because we don't have anything to identify it from, especially the stories that we all tell ourselves.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes we make up our stories so it can sound good, so we can, shall we say, get through life, as opposed to living an authentic, true life.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. A lot of my work as a coach has to do with dissembling those stories that we've told ourselves and getting back to what happened as opposed to what we made up about it happening. Human beings are meaning-making machines. We don't have a choice in the matter. We have to give a meaning to things that happen. You know, it's like looking at clouds and seeing dragons and unicorns and, oh, look, there's a face. You know, seeing faces in tie-dye. I mean, you know, just all those kinds of things. We're driven to recognize those patterns. Our brains are wired for that. A lot of times when there's been something we don't understand that has happened to us in our life, we'll make up a meaning for it, and that becomes a story, and then that, you know, that promulgates itself into something that's almost indestructible. And dissembling that story and taking it apart and looking at the, you know, the who, the what, the when, and the where, as opposed to the how and the why, which we provide, is a really, really powerful tool that I use to break up those stories and then create ones that, you know, don't victimize us, they empower us. Because if you wrote the story in the first place, you get to write it however you want.
Exactly.
It's a write your own adventure story, you know?
Exactly. And when we think about it, in reference that if we didn't have a story to tell, then what would we talk about if we didn't have a story to tell? Because most people, they choose to tell their story, whatever that story is, or some people don't. But if they didn't have that story, what else would they actually talk about?
Well, maybe they'd talk about who they are and what they want. You know, because it's okay to say what you want, you know?
Exactly. It's like you said earlier, though. I mean, if they actually can express what it is they really want, then the big question is, are they ready to receive what they really want?
That's the point there. You know, are they willing to receive, or are they holding themselves back, waiting for the other shoe to drop because it did before?
Exactly. And when we think about it in reference to relationships, there's so many people out there that want to be in relationships. I mean, every person out there wants to have that that one person that adores them, that looks at them like they're diamonds. And but the reality of it all is, if they really, really wanted that, what would they have to do so they can have that? What's the one thing they would have to change so they can have that actual person that they truly, in their deepest of heart, want? What is that thing they have to change for that to happen?
Is how they feel about themselves. Are they worthy? Do they deserve that kind of, and somewhere along the lines, we tell ourselves we don't. And that is, for most of us, that is the hardest thing to change, is being open to letting us love ourselves enough to let other people to love us. I mean,
Exactly.
it's been said for a long, long time, you got to love yourself before anybody else will show up.
Yes.
And I'm living proof that that is so true.
Yes.
So
And
true.
it's also the matter of what we've grown up into, whether it's a past life story or a childhood story trauma, that, as you've mentioned, not feeling worthy, not feeling deserving to be loved or to receive love. Working on clearing that storyline, that yes, you are definitely loved. I mean, I would say the one way we can all know for fact that we're loved is because we're all here. We were
Yeah.
chosen to be here. There's no mistake that you're here, I'm here, the people watching the show are here. That's a sign in itself that yes, we are definitely worthy of love. So with that being said, what I would love to do as we take a commercial break, when we get back from that commercial break, I would love for it, if you can, and I know you can, if you can share a little information regarding how one can really let go of that story and move into that space of things, how they can change things up going forward. And this is so perfectly aligned with this energy that we are in right now and the energy we are moving in. As I mentioned in the earlier part of the show, the full moon in Leo, Saturn moving into Pisces, many changes coming in. But we're going to come back and talk about that in a moment. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with some more of this amazing conversation about falling in love with yourself.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. Coffee is always on, and no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Are you ready for solutions and connections? If so, I can help. Hi, I'm Tammy Moses, and I help the peripheral people resolve hoarding issues in a holistic way. I would love to connect with you and learn more about how I can help in your unique situation. Please send me an email to thehoardingsolution@gmail.com. I look forward to connecting with you.
All right, we are on, and welcome back. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. You are watching Joanne's Healing Within, and I have my amazing guest with me, Deborah. We are talking about falling in love with yourself. And we were just chatting up a whole lot of stuff behind the scenes on the commercial break. You're definitely going to have to come back and watch from the beginning. You won't catch the commercial conversation but you will be able to catch what we were chatting about before. And just in case you're interested in knowing how to reach Deborah, there's a flyer that was shown before. But Deborah, just give us your website information so when people want to reach out to you about all your amazing things that you have going, what is that website?
Oh, it's createdlife.com.
Perfect. Excellent. And we were just talking in the commercial break about all this energy we have going on with the full moon in Leo and how this topic is so perfectly aligned with changes. So Deborah, share a little bit about what we were actually just talking about during the commercial break about the communication, our heart's energy. Let's talk about that.
Okay. What I was saying was that today is actually a blue day. And if you go back and watch the episodes where I was talking about my coloricity system, blue is about communication, about clarity of message, about soothing nerves and commitment and responsibility. The fact that we were also talking that we're both wearing pink, which is rose, which is also aligned with the energies because it has to do with marrying the spiritual with the physical energy and coming from a place of wisdom and looking back across the spectrum, so to speak. It's experiential wisdom where you take what you've learned from going through all of the other colors in the visible spectrum and being able to work with that, since rose is a higher octave of red, which is personal, internal, and now you're able to look outside.
I love that. I love that. And there's a workshop you have coming up that really has a lot to do with this work. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, on the 23rd of February at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing a workshop called How Do I Love Me? Let Me Count My Ways. And it's all about falling in love with yourself all over again. And what are the first steps you can take to start unfolding that tightly held little bud that you are. And it'll be for about 90 minutes, and it'll be on Zoom. Cost is $47, and you can go to my website, createdlife.com, and go into the shopping cart, and you'll be able to sign up for the workshop.
I love that. I love that. And when we think about this energy in regards to everyone's story, because we all have one. We all have a story. I mean, as humans, that's one of the reasons why we're here, to go through our story, to go through the different challenges. There are some more, let me see if I get this right. There are some people more than other people that do have a deeper storyline to sharing in regards to really being able to fall in love with themselves and to shift that whole mindset of what they thought their story was, their challenges that they went through. Whereas maybe they were told that they're not worthy. Maybe they were told that they would never amount to anything. Maybe they came from a huge family line, had lots of brothers and sisters, and didn't really get the love that they wanted. So they carry all of this energy. There's so many multiple stories and reasons to why one may carry that story, but that's part of their journey. So they can work through and get to that place to loving themselves.
Exactly. My mother, bless her soul, always told me no matter what it was I was attempting, she'd tell me, well, you can do that. You can do anything you want if you just lose some weight. She always put that qualifier on there. So I never felt like I could do something, because losing weight was something I struggled with from an early age, And so because I was the size I was, she made me feel like I was a failure all the time, no matter what.
Yes.
There wasn't a chance. And I've rewritten that story and overcome it. And, all of us have those stories that were implanted from a very early age from, our parents, our teachers, classroom issues, playground, all that kind of stuff. Kids are cruel. I mean, we know that. And it's up to us to determine where our worth lies, whether, and it's as simple as wanting it sometimes.
Yeah. Now
I want to be worthy. Okay, I can be.
Exactly. The statement that you made that kids are cruel. I mean, the reality, kids are not really cruel. What's cruel
No, but the things they say and the way
it again goes back into what they experience themselves.
exactly.
Whatever it is they experience, they carry that energy, and they're gonna extend that out. So if they themselves experience not feeling love, not feeling not belonging to anything, or in your situation, you can do anything if you lose the weight.
Yeah,
I mean, theoretically, they like yourself or anybody else carrying that energy, we can decide, well, do we really believe that, or can we take that energy and put it down and change your story, which is what you have done. And that's what this is really about. It's getting to that place of, do I really believe that story anymore?
exactly. Well, and there's the other part about creating those stories with a frame of reference that we have at the time. Some of us created a view of the world when we were 5 or 6, and we're still living it.
Yes.
Instead of, hey, now I'm well, I'm 70, but now I'm this age. And there's been other experiences. I'm not the same person I was when I was 6. So my worldview is not the same as it was when I was 6. I know more. I know more about how the world works, how people interact with each other. So the way that I see the world doesn't work anymore, really. And, sometimes you're forced to change your worldview, but sometimes it can be gentle.
Exactly. And also too, sometimes we get blessings where we have people that actually come into our life that are going to show us something very different than what we were familiar with. Which
Exactly.
That's part of the journey, is the different people that we're open to and to receiving that information. So just as, let's say, your mom when you were 6 might have said to you, you could do anything as long as you lose the weight. You might have brought people into your journey that were okay with you doing what you're doing just as you are, and seeing you as this beautiful being of light, not associated with weight at all.
Exactly.
So I think a big part of this message for today is how many of us are willing to put down the weight, the physical, the emotional, the psychological weight that many of us may hold, and put it down so we could begin to tell a different story, that change that comes in, and being a different version of what's the possibilities, what's the new possibilities that come in, so we can create things we're looking to create and build up a new identity for ourselves.
Exactly. And that, that flows perfectly into what I wanted to talk about next, which was, how you could start to get to know who you are inside, because you may not anymore. You may have lost touch with who you are. And I've said for a long time, take yourself on a date, create a first date. Some of us have been in relationships for a very, very long time. We forgot what it's like to go on a first date. But your first date is where you get to know the other person. You try and get it so that it's not stressful and there's lots of people around, and you have a conversation. if you go to eat or you don't, it doesn't matter. What you're there for is to find out who this other individual is. And, I like to tell my people to, go ahead. If you want to go out, that's fine. Make a reservation. Dress up, go through all the rituals that you go through to go on a first date. And take yourself out. Just go by yourself. Don't bring anybody else with you. And just sit and enjoy yourself, and look at these things and, ask yourself questions. You can, bring a journal along if that helps, and just sit and, be quiet, be still, and journal, write some questions down that you would ask an individual if you were starting to date.
Exactly.
Who are you really? What do you like to do? What do you want to accomplish in your life? What's a big dream that you've had your whole life long? And just journal the answers and get started on that. But take yourself out of your comfort zone or where you normally are.
Exactly.
And look inside.
Exactly. And this is so perfectly aligned, considering that, if I'm not mistaken, this next weekend coming in, or next week coming in, we do have Valentine's Day, and many people know Valentine's Day to be a couple's day where you go out with your partner, your spouse, whatever not. But this is a perfect opportunity to do what it is that Deborah is suggesting. Take yourself out on a date, even if you are in a relationship, if you're married, in a relationship, whatever it is, still take yourself on a date. So with that being said, Deborah, again, let's give that website address so people can reach out to you, because we do have to take another commercial break.
Sure. It's createdlife.com. And the event, if you're on Facebook, the event that I'm doing on the 23rd is How Do I Love Me? And you can find the event on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So when we come back from this break, Deborah is going to continue sharing some more tips in reference to how to fall in love with yourself. And then if Deborah is open to it, I'm going to give her a card reading to give her some insight as well. So
always,
right
Joanne, always.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. Coffee is always on, and no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Hi everyone, I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I have my amazing guest here, Deborah. We are speaking, sharing about how to fall in love with yourself. And if you're just tuning in right now, please come back later and watch from the very beginning. After all, this is a really great topic. And you can watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. We're also live here on YouTube and Twitter as well. So, Deborah, is there anything else you want to share about this amazing topic before you give that one tip?
Yeah, one of the things that that I know that I wanted to talk about was sometimes we do this to ourselves where we surround ourselves with proof. And, if we don't feel that we're worthy of love, if we don't love ourselves enough, it shows in our environment. So, one of the things that we can do is look around where we spend a lot of time. And what does that say about you? Are you in a place that you're just making do? Are you, still got boxes that need to be unpacked because you're not going to stay there for very long? Or are you in a place that, coming home is just like, oh my God, I love this place. This is just my happy place to come to. I have, bright colors around me, or I have things that make me smile, that I really feel the love when you walk in. And for a lot of us, we've become kind of calloused or just not conscious of how we surround ourselves. Look at our wardrobes, look at our, different ways of taking care of yourself. Do you just make do, or do you love yourself enough to actually take the time to lavish attention on yourself the way you do it to somebody else that you love dearly?
Yes. Let me ask you a question, Deborah. In regards to, and this could be a tip, in regards to attracting that more higher vibration love for self, and of course to attract it out, what would be the colors somebody would want to wear?
Well, first of all, it would depend on their natal configuration. But I would say one of the colors that would really attract would be a turquoise blue, because that is about clarity of message and communication, about being clear about what you want. Another color that would work really, really well would again be rose or pink or even burgundy. I would say to stay away from blacks and dark grays, because what black does actually is put a shield between you and somebody else. It blocks what you're giving out, and it blocks what you're taking in. And so,
Yes.
A lot of us wear black because we think it's slimming. And I'm here to tell you, all it does is make you a bigger black blob. But, the energies of the colors, white allows easy flow because it's a balance of all color.
I love that. I love
If
that.
you can wear some white, that works. But yeah, blue, and violet, indigo, actually. Indigo is potential and possibility. So, if you're wearing something that is that lovely powdery blue that's almost a purple, that says that you're open to possibilities.
Excellent. So Deborah has shared some amazing colors. So those of you who do not have those colors in your wardrobe, you may want to go out and do a little shopping. And that's another great way to sort of have love for self, is get out, get yourself some colors that's actually going to raise your vibration so you can start attracting the love for self, but then also beaming it out, especially if you are looking to fall in love with someone along with falling in love with yourself. So I love that. I think that's a great tip for the day. Did you have another one that could match that, or we're good there?
Um, yeah, I would say, yeah, look around your environment and see where you've been denying yourself that kind of love. Also, imagine, if you will, perfect your perfect love. I mean, even if you're in a relationship, if you can imagine, oh my God, this is a fairy tale, happy ever after kind of love, and make a list of all of the attributes that you're looking for.
Excellent. Excellent.
And then, start checking them off.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that. I love that. And as I promised, because I always love to give my guests a reading to give them a little bit of insight for themselves, are you open to one today?
Oh, of course.
All
Always.
right. Excellent. So what I'd like you to do is just say your name that's on your birth certificate or what you go by out loud 3 times for me.
Well, which do you want?
Give me what you go by. How about we go there?
Okay. Deborah Beatty, Deborah Beatty, Deborah Beatty.
All right. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to see what the universe has in store for you.
Oh boy.
All right. So rather than focusing on a question, let's see what's in store for you with this amazing energy and what you may have to work on. How's that work?
Yeah? That works good.
All right. The card wants to fly out the deck. Interesting.
Well, that's
card.
important.
Yes. They all want to fly. Wait, we can't have all of you coming out.
They got a lot to tell me. That's why.
We only need one. So the card that's showing for you today is patience. 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 Being patient with yourself on the work that you are doing. This is also associated with the heart chakra as well. Just as we said about the pink energy based on the full moon in Leo, it's about the heart. That 4 energy is your foundation. Now, when we speak of foundation, it's the foundation that you actually live in, but it's also the foundation of your own body as well. Being patient with who you are and who you're becoming. Because as you know, and everybody else may know or may not know, is that we are constantly shifting. We are constantly becoming a different version of ourselves, which is why today's show is so appropriate in regards to we can change our identity and we can change the foundation that we are in and move into that magnificent energy. That 4 is also a reminder that everything is perfectly balanced for you right now. But the universe is saying to you to just be patient. There's something you're working on, and that perhaps you're feeling a little impatient because you were hoping it would have happened already. But it's going to happen. You just have to be a little bit patient. There's a little bit more that you need to sort of work on, because that 4 energy is about working on something. There's a little bit more you have to fine tune to get you where you want to get to with it. So some patience. Does that resonate?
Yeah, it does. And especially since there's 4 and the circle that's around it are green.
Yes.
In my system, that is creating order out of chaos, and which is another way that, you can define that as patience too. It takes time to put everything into, the structures and stuff.
Exactly.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Exactly. And it's interesting because I had actually said this to someone earlier today, but also applies to you and I think our audience as well. As we continue to shift our energy and go through those challenges and change the story, change our identity, we are constantly in the process of doing that. So just when we get to where we think we should be, there's a layer of getting to the next layer and to the next layer. So it's a practice of patience, being patient with ourselves in this constant journey of identification, changing of who we are today is not who we're going to be tomorrow. And who we were yesterday definitely is not who we're going to be in months and years down the road. So that's your message for today. Let our audience know how they can reach you one last time with that website.
Okay, my website is createdlife.com. And I just want to tell the audience that, and I really would love them to open up and receive this. I love you. You are worthy.
There you go. That is probably the best message we're all going to get today. Open to receive that message, because we are all worthy of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. So again, Deborah, thank you so much for being here to share your wisdom once again, and you'll be back again in March. So I look for March. Yeah, March. I think, yeah. Wow.
Awesome.
Yes, March. It's like February before you know it, March. So yeah, so thank you again. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and I'll be back with the conclusion of today's show. So again, thank you, Deborah, so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Ladies over 40, do you enjoy CrossFit, HIIT, interval training, Orange Theory, Zumba, or even yoga? I would like to help you incorporate 3 strength training workouts into that regimen. Yes, good old-fashioned strength training. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast Deck, and the founder of Holistic Fitness, located right here in New York, Queens. To learn how you can redeem your self-growth discovery session, email healingwithin76@gmail.com and get started on that new 3-day strength training regimen in addition to what you enjoy. That email again is healingwithin76@gmail.com.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. If you are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and my guest, Deborah, who's an amazing guest. Topic of the day was falling in love with yourself, and it was an amazing topic. I do encourage you to come back and watch it. If you're just tuning in now, you can watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. We're also live right now here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You definitely want to come and watch the show again or watch it for the first time, because Deborah shared some amazing insight on how you can fall in love with yourself. And considering this amazing full moon we're in, it's all about changes, helping us to fall in love with ourselves for the first time ever. Want to give a shout out to some of my partners that have some amazing things going on that you might be interested in participating in. There is a flyer for everything I'm going to share with you today. Here we go. We're going to start with our spirit messages and energy insight. Happens every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then, just as we had my amazing guest Deborah here, she is the badass color mystic. She has a beautiful workshop taking place in February. Feel free to check out her website. Then we have the Author's Porch magazine and podcast. The next issue is April 1st, so get your, whether it's your poem or article or whatever it is, featured book in by March 1st. Then we have Intuition of the Soul. They have some amazing stuff going on as well. A new program starting up this week, so check them out. Then we have yours truly, Self-Growth Discovery Sessions. If you want to discover yourself on a deeper level, go ahead and schedule your Self-Growth Discovery Session. This coming Wednesday, I am offering the Psychic Club, which is actually Miracles and Mystical Medicine Psychic Club. The second Wednesday every month, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information, check out the flyer. And last but not least, for all of you out there that have something to share, you want to shine your light, feel free to be a guest or partner on the show. For more information about that, check out the flyer. All that being said, I look forward to being back here in 2 weeks. That would be February 19th. I'll be sharing the guest at that time. Till then, enjoy this amazing full moon in Leo energy leading up into our Saturn entering Pisces. So much more to come. Till then, have a blessed day. Bye-bye for now.